gonna be honest, I don't know how to start this video. Bruh! Well, that was something. You're a country. You got millions of citizens, and you want to spread a message to them. How do you get that message across? Here's your answer. Propaganda. Sorry, this isn't scripted. So we're gonna be going over a bunch of different propaganda over the years, and like their time periods and what they were for. So let's go to our first category, drugs! Now the war on drugs is something that's going on to this day, which is crazy because you don't hear about it a lot anymore, but it was started in 1971 by Mr. Richard Nixon, the president, and it was largely unsuccessful. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of like DARE and like winners don't do drugs, yeah, but there was some interesting things to say the least. Like for example, you got Pee Wee Herman warning about crack cocaine. This is real, by the way.
This is crack. Rock cocaine.
Of all the characters to talk to you about crack, why Pee Wee Herman? Fonzie Bear would have been a better fit. But of course, who could forget the two greatest video games of all time? Narc, which is an arcade game where you literally take down drug lords. That's also real. And Wally Bear and the No Gang. This isn't Wally Bear and the No Gang. I'm sorry, this is Yoshi's Cookie. I don't have the game. The game was a simple platformer where you had to get to your uncle's house, except you were out on the streets and like all your friends were trying to do it's a weird game. But who could forget Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue? It was produced and released by the McDonald's Company because they have a track record for drug PSAs. You can't make this stuff up. Where dozens of popular kids' cartoons and Alf came together to stop the use of drugs. There was a kid named Michael, and he was addicted to drugs, so they got him to stop. USA! USA! Chapter 2. World War II. Now here's something we didn't see in other wars before. It's propaganda. Now, we didn't see a lot of propaganda cartoons, but we do here. Actually, here's an interesting fact. There was this small company that released a flop movie, and they would have gone bankrupt and shut down had it not been for making propaganda cartoons for the government. I don't know if you've heard about them, though. The name's Disney? Yes, that's true. Fantasia was pretty much the opposite of a success, and so they were on their last legs, but they contracted something with the government, and now they own everything. And if you know anything about Disney's propaganda cartoons, this will be the first thing that comes to your mind.
Here, improve the mind. Heil Hitler!
Yes, this is called Der Fuhrer's Face, where Donald Duck is a Nazi. It shows this poor treatment as he's forced to wake up, can't even have some bread, he has to hide it, and then works in a factory line where he's pushed to his limits. But then he wakes up and patriotism, yay! This is meant to show the poor treatment of Nazis at the time, showing don't support them because they abuse this duck.
Just hit me that is something that I actually said.
I get this song stuck in my head a lot.
Heil! Right in Herr Goebbels' face. Then Hulk Goring says, they'll never bomb this place. The Heil! Heil! Right in Herr Goring's face.
Bruh, lighting change. I got lunch. And of course, there's some other ones that I've heard of, but I didn't get the chance or time to watch it. Like there was Bugs Bunny and Nips the Nips, where he was messing with Japanese soldiers. This weird one Russia sent to the French to try and convince them that the US was gonna bomb them, but they had Mickey Mouse and Popeye in B-17 bombers. This is real! There's also one called Ductators, where Hitler's a duck. Yeah. Ooh, I forgot about Private Snafu. Hey, let me give that one a watch. I need a shower. Part 3, Cold War and Civil Defense. The Cold War, or as we like to call it, with the constant threat of nuclear annihilation, how are our people gonna be With the constant threat of nuclear annihilation, how are our people gonna be safe? Yeah, you know, propaganda. Let's just go a little on the civil defense side. Protect and survive. It was a series of shorts, pamphlets, radio broadcasts, stuff like that. And it was the home of such fun topics as nuclear annihilation. The shorts were all about how to survive a nuclear bomb, how to survive the radiation after a nuclear bomb, the ready kit you should have in case there was a nuclear bomb. Cold War is fun, isn't it? Nobody cares about that. What about the good old US of A? I mean, we had a good threat of nuclear annihilation too. Have you heard of turtles? Duck and Cover, also known as the other song that gets stuck in my head a lot, was a short produced in the 50s.
Guys, editor me here. I don't know why I stood up, but I'm keeping it.
Duck and Cover came out in the 1950s, mostly distributed at schools. It taught what to do in the case of a bomb being dropped, saying to be like Bert the Turtle and duck and cover. It's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, I'll admit, Duck and Cover and Protect and Survive, they're not really propaganda. It's more like social distance. Not social distance. We are living in 2020! It's more of a social guidance film, but honestly, I like talking about civil defense. Sue me. Don't actually sue me. How am I supposed to buy Lego racers if I don't have any money? Right, now let's get to real propaganda. The Millionaire. It's about a dog, and their owner dies, and he gets the money, and he becomes corporate greed. It's basically just saying capitalism bad. We'll leave it at that. But then we got Make Mine Freedom. It's US propaganda. All these people are just like normal class citizens like us, and then someone comes along and introduces ism, and they all come and they all want it, but it communism bad is basically what it's saying. This was a bit of a short one, but whatever, we'll move on to the final one. Chapter 4, Safety. So there's this book in our school library called Government Issue, and it's about a bunch of propaganda comics. So I found it pretty interesting. You know, I used to go through it a bunch last year. So I got my fair share of interesting comics to talk about, to say the least. See if there's any great deals in this. Free Oreo tumbler! First off, we got El Gato the cat. And El Gato, you see, I took Spanish in 6th grade for about 3 months. El Gato is Spanish for the cat. So it's called the cat. El Gato the cat is basically just fire safety. That's pretty much it. Don't smoke while you're going to sleep. Don't go up electric poles. Don't play with matches. You know. And it had this bird that told him what he shouldn't do. And El Gato is just like, whatever, I'll do what I want. But then I saw something that was truly great. Are you ready for this? Abstinence comics. It's just self-explanatory. And finally, we have Eddie the Eagle. This isn't a comic, it was a cartoon that was created in the 80s and then remade in 2015. So what was it about? Well, it's about these two kids who go into a closet and they see a gun. Eddie the Eagle doesn't play around. He tells them not to use the gun. That's pretty much it. It's just gun safety.
Also, yet again, the song gets stuck in my head.
So, we come to the end of this video, and what did we learn? I'm not sure. Play the credits.
Please don't fail me. I work really hard for one day. Oh, my voice cracked.